I used to think that art was a waste of time and galleries a waste of money and space, but after visiting the gallery with my friend today, I understand that that's not necessarily true.
Fam, Machine, I had to put max exposure to see you, bro.
You see, he actually knows some stuff about art, so going with him, I wasn't just looking, I was starting to understand. Understand that art was used as a means of propaganda abused by those with power and money who had access to materials that the average person didn't have. And that those modern crap pieces of art that have way too much money put into them are used for money laundering. The images depicted in art were a reflection of what those in power wanted the layman to believe and be. I'd argue music is a more direct programming from those in power, because with lyricism, there's very little room for interpretation. Rather than being shown modest women in headscarves and Jesus on a cross, we're told that women should strip to be empowered and we should lead hedonistic lives. Before we got to the museum, he told me that a good blanket term for art is self-expression. From this, I drew two conclusions. One, everything is art. And two, art is in its most pure form when viewed by the artist. Conclusion one is self-explanatory. Everything we do is self-expression. Walking, running, jumping, taking an exam, playing a sport, all of these things are a reflection of who we are, where we're going, and why we're going there. Conclusion 2 has some interesting implications. If art is in its most pure form when viewed by the artist, then it is the job of the artist to bridge the gap between the viewer and the piece, to make them feel and think the exact same things they did when they made it. This requires engagement from the viewer, but every form of communication requires at least two parties engaging with one another. If they felt inspired, that should be clearer in the piece. If they felt pressed by time and money and higher up management, that should come through as well. And this does extremely strongly nowadays when a lot of things feel soulless. Although if you're limited by technique and skill, then the average onlooker won't know this is an inspired piece and move on, resulting in only those close to the artist and those who engage with the piece deeply knowing the care that was put in. It's not the job of every onlooker to be interested, but rather the artist to hone their craft. However, this is why people analysing art look at context, to get a better idea of what the artist was thinking and feeling when they made this piece. Do this across multiple pieces and start putting everything together, and we can get a better idea of what history could have been. Supposedly, this is important because history repeats itself, but honestly our species might be cooked, so there's something I'm more interested in. Understanding individuals. Each person has their own lives, is the protagonist of their own story, and has their own set of side characters, and are even the side characters themselves in someone else's story. Everything is art. Every action, reaction, decision, impulse, loaded with context that becomes a piece that we add to our murals that we call our lives. A mural that stretches from the moment we're born to the moment we die, drawn on the canvas of time. With all the distractions around us, how many of our pieces can we actually explain, and how many are just accidents that we didn't even think about? How much of our murals will we let look like a blur of TikToks that we don't even remember watching? If I learned one thing from going to the gallery, it's this: consume consciously with intention. If you're consuming for entertainment, know what it is that you're watching and enjoy it. Don't just scroll through, hoping to luck out with a funny video every so often. Because this mural that is your life is one that you're responsible for, and leaving no space to make something real because you were caught up doom scrolling is not a position you want to be in.